Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're jumping into a really fascinating story from the front lines of education, way out in rural Nepal. It's all about how a group of teachers took on this massive challenge and turned it into an incredible strength with lessons for all of us.
Okay, so let's start with the big question. Just imagine this for a second. You're a teacher, and your job is to teach English. Simple, right? But what if your students, all in one room, speak a dozen different languages at home? Where do you even start? This is the exact puzzle we're going to unpack today.
So, to really get the solution these teachers came up with, we first have to understand the setting. And it takes us to a pretty unique part of the world. We're looking at research that took place in Nepal's Darchula district. Now, these are rural, multicultural classrooms where having a ton of different languages in one place isn't unusual, it's just normal. This isn't some academic thought experiment, it's the daily reality for teachers and students there.
And this whole study, everything we're about to talk about, is built on the real-world lived experiences of just 4 teachers. That's it. Their stories, their struggles, and their brilliant breakthroughs are what this is all about. It's about what actually works on the ground.
So, faced with this incredible linguistic complexity, what did these teachers do? Well, what they found was a solution that came from breaking one of the oldest rules in the language teaching playbook. You can really see the two different mindsets here. On the left, you've got the old way, a really strict English-only rule. Basically, students were told to leave their home languages at the classroom door. But these teachers, they embraced a totally new way, a powerful strategy called translanguaging. So, what on earth is translanguaging? It sounds complex, but the idea is actually pretty simple and beautiful. It's the belief that a student's home language isn't a barrier to learning English, it's a bridge. It's about using a student's entire set of language skills to help them understand new concepts. It's not about replacing English at all, but about building a stronger foundation for it.
Okay, so that's the theory. But what does it actually look like in a real classroom with real students? Well, the results were pretty incredible.
The process itself follows this really smart, simple cycle. First, the teacher introduces a new idea in English. Then, and this is the key part, the students break into groups and discuss that idea in whatever language they're most comfortable with. They help each other get it. Finally, they come back together and share their understanding in English. It's a learning cycle that actually respects every language in the room.
And the benefits were huge, touching on everything from grades to social skills. Of course, comprehension went way up. Students could finally wrestle with ideas in their own language first, but it was so much more than that. Participation shot up because kids weren't so afraid to speak, and it built these crucial skills like empathy and cultural sensitivity because the classroom became a place where everyone's background was genuinely valued.
You know, at the end of the day, when a teacher allows a student to use their home language, they're sending a really powerful message. They're saying, your language is valuable, your culture is valuable, you are valuable. This approach just creates a much more equitable and affirming space for everyone to learn.
But as amazing as this all sounds, it wasn't a walk in the park. These 4 teachers were basically innovators, working against a system that really wasn't designed to support them at all.
The teachers said they faced a wall of challenges. They were working with not enough training, very few resources, and all the while fighting against this old-school mindset that put English on a pedestal above all other languages. Their success happened in spite of the system, not because of it.
And this brings us to the study's most important takeaway. If this innovation from the ground up works so well, how do we make it the norm? Well, the answer lies in completely rethinking how we prepare our teachers for the job in the first place.
The big conclusion is crystal clear. The system itself has to change. The study calls for a major reform of teacher education programs in Nepal so that they actually reflect the multilingual reality of the country's classrooms.
So what would that reform actually look like? Well, it would mean giving every new teacher 3 key things. First, an awareness of how these multilingual dynamics work. Second, the practical hands-on strategies of how to actually do translanguaging. And third, the cultural competence to create classrooms that are truly, genuinely inclusive. And really, the power of this research is that it listens. As the author D.S. Soud writes, by focusing on the voices of these rural teachers, we get a much clearer picture of what equitable and inclusive education can and should look like. Real change starts by listening to the people on the front lines.
And that leaves us with one last thing to think about. This story from rural Nepal, it isn't just about Nepal. It's a powerful reminder that linguistic diversity isn't a problem to be solved, but a resource to be treasured. So the question for all of us is, what hidden strengths, what new bridges of understanding could our own communities unlock if we just truly embraced every single language spoken within them? Thanks for watching.